Oh boy, this is going to be a good one. We're going to be
Everyone's going to love this.
we're going to be talking all about feeders, about The Walking Dead,
About The Walking Dead,
the
and
Walking Feeder.
also about allowing people into your circle of trust.
Your circle of life.
Yes.
Yes, we're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff today. Well, anyway, I'm Rich G.
And I'm BJ Flagg, and this is episode 186. Find out who are your business feeders.
Yeah, feeders are the lifeblood of your business.
Yes, and it actually is talking about the circle of trust.
So what is the circle of trust?
Well, thank you for asking. When you're thinking about your contacts, there is a right in the center is your gold. So those are going to be people who are your steady clients, your friends, your family, some contacts that you just absolutely count on all the time. And you don't have to, recreate the relationships. It's just long and standing. And then you start to go to the next ring where those might be people like in associations, in groups. Rich, you and I are a member of a lot of different clubs and groups and things like that. And those are people over time can grow your center because they get to know you so well, right?
Yeah, they trust you.
Yeah. And then you go out and you might have vendors that you've worked with for a very long time. You might have clients that don't use you all the time, but they do come back and they're in that next ring. And there are people who have heard of you and speak nicely about you.
Yeah.
But then when you start to go out of that circle, the trust factor is not as connected.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've run into that.
And it's interesting because once you start to get out of the circle, feeders aren't necessarily friends or people that you meet with a lot of the time. They're people where you're satisfying a need for their business.
Right.
There's something that you do that they don't do. And, feeders are great because they're calling you up. I have a great client. I want you to handle them with kid gloves because they're one of my best clients. And
Right.
you roll out the red carpet. And so working with a feeder is a very structured and also precarious relationship because you really have to go over and above because then they'll feed more to you.
Right. And this is, there's a member group called BNI, and this is some of their theory, which is the more you can do for others, the more they remember and do for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You really have to treat them nicely, maybe even give them a slight discount or something like that. But again, if the feeder trusts you and you handle their client with, nicely, they're going to feed you. They're going to give you more and more and more. I actually have a story where one of my clients developed a relationship with a feeder who works at a bank. And the banker was just feeding her 2-3 clients. It was like they developed the relationship and suddenly she dumped 4 or 5 clients on her. Yeah. And she did such a great job. That banker told all the other bankers in her department to work with my client. Right. And suddenly it went from 4 to 5 to like 20. Yeah. And that's how fast when you work with feeders, you can get business. So anyway, what's our first tip, BJ?
Well, thanks for asking. Look for the last 5 referrals you've got and analyze their demos because those are going to be your closest referrals. So let's get into that a little bit. Picture them as just like your focus group participants. Look at all the reasons they came to you, and you're going to be incredibly surprised about what you can kind of glean from just doing a little bit of digging.
Yeah. And once you do the digging, go after more of these people. As we mentioned in the intro, the closer you are to the gold in your circle of trust, the stronger the possibility of a faster bond.
And as you keep in touch with your contacts, keep asking them, who do they know? What are they doing? Is there anybody on their list that they need help with? Make it definitely make it reciprocal, and you'll be amazed at the steady stream of referrals you can create.
Yeah. Don't go after the business, go after the relationship.
Yeah.
And you'll find you'll be amply rewarded once that happens. Once you deepen that trust, that relationship with the feeder, and you show them that you're not going to drop the ball with their client or their friend, they're
Right.
going to be so happy to give you more.
And you can see in how we're talking about it, we're definitely, do you notice how we're not even talking about your business necessarily? We're
Yeah.
talking about what can you do for the feeder. And you'll be shocked at the business just happens,
Yeah.
which
You
is the
treat it more like doing a favor for your feeder rather than them giving you business,
yeah.
and they're going to appreciate it. And we're going to talk more about how to treat them after the fact. But tip 2 is try to better understand how your services will solve your feeder's pain points. That's the
Mhm.
critical juncture. It's like, how do you fit like a puzzle your services or products and how they're going to solve the feeder's pain points? So do some research and learn how their business works, and
Yeah.
understand, like, if you're one of your feeders is an attorney and they do contracts, or they maybe do estate planning, how does their business work, and see how your uh, services fit.
Yeah. And when you're looking at it, show them how you'd be a natural next step for their clients. They may not logically see the connection, and it's no skin off your teeth to just sit with them for a little bit and say, see, this is how this could be. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome, because you're strengthening the relationship between them and their clients. So you're doing them a huge favor.
Absolutely. Build trust by showing them how you will manhandle. No, I'm just kidding. Gently navigate their clients. Show them the process, because, again, what they do is different from what you do, and they might not understand how you work with their client. So give them a basic step-by-step process. That I do this with them, then I do this, then I do this. And what I could do is I could keep working with you during the process and keeping you in the loop.
Yeah. Because if you show them at what points you'll follow up with a client, with their clients, and how you'll keep them in the loop, oh my gosh, they're going to be absolutely thrilled, because they don't lose that client. They have a stronger client. So they're
Absolutely.
flipping out.
And the
Um,
client, and especially like with attorneys and stuff, attorneys are really good at what they do.
yeah.
But when they're asked to do other things, like in a divorce, it's like they might tell the spouse, you really need to get your own life insurance now. And the spouse is going to go, oh, I don't know where to go. I've got somebody good for you. I'll give them a call and I'll have them follow up with you.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, would you do that for me? Because the attorney's not good at insurance, but they know somebody that's good.
Exactly. And they've already built up the trust. So the insurance agent comes in kind of as a extremely warm referral, which is awesome.
So
Um,
what's tip 3?
Look at your vendors. They have to, you have been feeding them. Now they can feed you. It's surprising. Some vendors just don't see this. And your vendors actually have like clients to you, because there's a lot of people who go directly, you'll work directly with a company that is actually ideal for you. So keeping in great contact with them, with the vendors, you'll see how you can help them.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
It's so important, because they'll think of you the next time someone asks for help in your company's field of business. And it's just asking, it's begging the question, hey, you probably work with a lot of these types of companies. They go, yeah, I've got a whole, I'd really appreciate it if they ever have a need to do this, point them to me. And the vendor would go, because you're dumping money on the vendor. They're
yeah.
happy to offer you up as a resource to one of their clients.
We had in a situation where one of our large signage companies came to us and said, the design that these people need is out of our scope. We
Mhm.
do nice and simple design, but it's out of our scope. Could you come in on a meeting? And we went in on the meeting. We reviewed everything they needed. Not all the signage needed us. So we stuck to our knitting and did the more complex design. And then they were able to do the other signage too. They got all the signage. And we connected a really cool bond between that company that was their client. So super good to do.
Yeah, the medical industry does this all the time. Like if you go to your dentist, they'll do, cleanings and, cavities and that sort of thing. But when
Right.
it comes to crowns or implants or something, they refer you to someone else. And
Yeah.
I go, this is a natural thing that happens in the medical industry. Think about that for your business.
Yeah. And if you think about strengthening that bond, what can you do for them so they can meet more people in your field? That's a huge thank you to your
Yeah.
vendor. This could look like a collaboration between, in a marketing campaign. You could do a meet and greet webinar. You could do, all different type of ideas. It's endless
Yeah.
what you could do, and gives them more exposure and naturally connects you to.
Exactly. And also look out for them. If you're being approached by their competition, follow
Yeah.
up with your choice vendor and discuss the unique selling proposition the other vendor used, how
Yeah.
they approached you, and what they might and gather from the intel. It's great to think that way because you're not being a spy, but you definitely are letting them know, "Ooh, I never thought of that."
Right. And it's also just hey, next time you see a marketing, in my case, right? Next time you see a marketing group who comes in and seems to have, really put together proposal or something going on, it's just strengthening your skills.
Mhm.
And if everybody can work together, you can't beat it. You really can't.
Yeah, it's like how my wife is always on the lookout for stuff that she gets at work. And she brought home this brochure and she said, "Hey, look at this." And I was like, actually, it wasn't a brochure. It was like an info sheet that was predominantly graphics, but very easy to read.
Yeah.
And I actually stole the idea. I was like, you know what? I'll change over my entire brochure system to be these short info sheets.
Yeah.
And it really helped me a lot. So,
And you know
tip,
what's so funny though?
yeah.
Pardon, before you get into it, because this next tip is great. What's so interesting about that? I bet if you held up the brochure or the info sheet she brought home and what you did, you'd barely see the connection,
Yes.
because really what you were doing was synthesizing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
which is
just,
so cool.
you're understanding. I just understood. I said, this is an interesting way. And it
Yeah,
really got to who really likes to read brochures? No one. So keep them short and sweet. So,
exactly.
tip 4, make sure you water and nourish your feeders on a regular schedule. It's
Awesome.
not just like, oh, I'm just expecting them to give me clients. No, you have to thank them. And
Yeah,
I really mean thank them. Write a nice handwritten card and mail it to them. Thank them. And really, I just received one the other day when I referred an architect to one of my clients.
yeah.
The architect wrote me a letter and thanked me profusely
Um,
for thinking of them. And I go, that may. Do you think I'm going to give them another referral?
oh yes, you
Absolutely.
can.
Yeah.
We have like a connection, a photographer,
Hmm.
very well known New York Times level photographer, stunning, incredible. And she works with a lot of our clients. We don't hire her, but the clients do. And we decided for Christmas that she was going to be our big gift. And we were going to just shower her with items. And we wrote a letter to her and said, the reason why we did this year is that you have touched so many lives and so many of our clients, and you've
Yes.
made them look so incredibly beautiful. And we hope to continue to collaborate. And she was awestruck
Yeah.
by it. Yeah. So be ready for a reaction that you're not expecting.
Absolutely. Take them out to lunch, remember them with gifts at holidays,
Yeah.
help them with their business. If you have a service or a product that they might need at a certain critical time of the year or in their business, help them out because they'll remember that.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And you know what? To be able to, go out and find more referral feeders just like them is your biggest favor to yourself. Have them introduce people to their peers about it. Is just the magic goes round and round. Such an
Yeah.
excellent thing. So we have a great resource today.
Yes, Endless Referrals. I've actually used this book. This is an incredible book. It's Network Your Everyday Contacts into Sales. It's by Bob Berg.
Bobby. He is he builds on his proven relationship building principles to bring even more clients to your door. And he helps you attract only those that are really interested in what you sell.
Yeah, the Bobster shows you how to maximize your daily contacts, utilize your tools both online and off, leverage your relationships, and generate ongoing sales opportunities.
And when you think about it, BB makes this book easy to read. The Bobster. He makes it easy to read. And he gives excellent examples and exercises so that getting the referrals and going the networking events is really actually pretty easy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. This book really helps you with networking events, how to do them, but also how to really turn your contacts into sales. So read the book. It's wonderful. I've actually done workshops on it used it with a coaching group that I have. It's a great book. So that's it for today. And sponsoring our podcast this morning is New Renew Brand Marketing.
Oh my gosh.
If you have a startup or just starting a new division, BJ's firm will act as your marketing partner to get it off the ground. Branding, brand messaging, websites, and support materials. BJ's team will do it all. Go to newrenew.com and check it out.
And not surprising, if you're looking for a fresh direction to grow your business, you definitely need to talk to our other sponsor, Rich G, who is a certified high-performance coach who helps hundreds of businesses owners grow their business. And I'm speaking from experience. Go check him out at richg.com and have a conversation with Rich. I promise he will deliver at least one or two great ideas to have your business grow. Thank you to our producer and editor, Rich Scalzo, the man who makes everything happen. Oh, yes. Thank you, Rich. Thank you. Bringing you the best small business podcast every Tuesday. Have an unbelievable week.
Yep. Catch you later.